With Chad Silver. Welcome back, Jalen Gilkey and Eric Tilton. How are y'all today?
Good to be back. Thank you guys for allowing me back. And you know, I was inspired to write a song for my return.
All right.
Would you like to hear the version inspired by Eminem or the version inspired by the Backstreet Boys?
Somebody else answer, please.
I'm gonna let you choose, Chad.
Yeah, which one do you want to
We're going
share?
Backstreet Boys.
All right.
Chad Silver's back. All right.
Oh God.
What do you think? Is that terrible?
That needs some work, buddy.
They put me out here so I wouldn't slap him. That's what they did.
There it is.
That's true. I figured why not just start off with a bang, right?
I like your song, Chad.
Thank you. I appreciate that. See, I like her already.
Good for you, buddy. I don't know. I don't even know what to do anymore.
Nothing to say.
All right. Well, so we're going to be on Facebook as we are every day. I'm going to be there today too because they're letting me fill in. So I hope to see you over there. As you know, we talk throughout the show, and it's always a good time.
Yeah, always a good time. But let's get to the latest news around the UNC Tar Heels. It's the start of a new era for the program as they formally introduced their new head coach, Hubert Davis. WFNY News 2's Luke Liddon was at the announcement, and Luke, Coach, he had a lot to share.
Yeah, Lauren, it really felt like the passing of the torch here inside the Dean Smith Center a little earlier today as North Carolina introduced their newest head coach in Hubert Davis. And it was pretty special because Roy Williams was also here in attendance, and we know he's vouched for Davis to get this head coaching role throughout the entire process. And Davis himself was greeted by a round of applause as he stepped onto the court for the very first time as your newest Tar Heels head coach. He spoke with passion and emotion throughout the entire press conference and made it very clear he always wanted to be a head basketball coach, but only here at Chapel Hill.
I wanted this job. I've always wanted to be a head coach. I just have always wanted to be a head coach only here. I've always wanted to walk the same road, the same path as Coach Smith and Coach Guthridge and Coach Williams. And I'm so excited and humbled and thankful and appreciative to be able to do it with my own personality and in my own shoes.
You know, I feel like you can learn a lot about new hires at introductory press conferences, and with the conviction, emotion, and passion Hubert Davis spoke with throughout the entire hour plus he was speaking to the media, it was clearly evident he is thrilled and ready for this job. I think will be a great fit, but of course only time will tell in the years ahead. But it's definitely turning a new page, a new chapter for the Tar Heels, and I think everyone should be very excited. I sure know Coach Davis is. We'll hear much more from Hubert Davis coming up at 5 and 6 o'clock, so be sure to keep it right here on WFNY News 2.
Luke, thank you. There is no team more familiar for Hubert Davis. He played for Carolina from '88 to '92 and helped lead the Tar Heels to the Final Four in 1991. Davis also spent the last 9 years as an assistant coach, helping UNC get to 2 Final Fours and win a national title. The New York Knicks drafted him at 20th overall in 1992, and he played in the NBA for 12 years. Davis currently holds the second highest three-point percentage in NBA history. And he is going to have some big shoes to fill. Roy Williams tallied 903 wins in his 33 seasons as a head coach, the third most all time. 485 of those wins came at Carolina. In his 18 years there, Williams led the Tar Heels to 3 national championships and 5 Final Fours. Williams is also the only coach to ever get 400 wins at 2 different schools. Williams released a statement earlier today congratulating Coach Davis.
I've never known a finer person in my entire life who has a switch that he turns on and can be as competitive as anybody around. Hubert Davis will not be an overachiever as a coach to me because I think he's going to be great.
Former Coach Williams went on to say he'll be cheering on Davis from the sideline every step of the way and promised to never criticize a decision Coach Davis will make, but instead blame it on the refs.
Earlier today, Governor Cooper gave an update on our state's efforts to vaccinate more people. So far, about 5.2 million people have gotten a vaccine dose in our state. Almost 40% of the population is partially vaccinated, and nearly a quarter is fully. The numbers are even better for the most vulnerable population, those 65 and older. Over 73% of the older population has 1 shot, and over 65 is fully vaccinated. Governor Cooper also talked about how more people will be eligible once Group 5 opens tomorrow, hopefully putting an end to the pandemic sooner.
Because of the hard work of our providers and commitment of North Carolinians to take their shot, We're getting people vaccinated more quickly than we predicted. This will help us turn the corner on the pandemic even sooner. But the work isn't over yet. We have to keep up our safety measures, like wearing our masks, especially indoors. And we have to encourage each other to get vaccinated.
All right, let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup now. First up, Major League Baseball plans to move the All-Star game to Denver after pulling out of Atlanta over objections to the voting laws in Georgia. The MLB commissioner made the decision to move All-Star events and the amateur draft from Atlanta after discussions with individual players and the Players Alliance. Norwegian Cruise Lines says no one will be allowed to sail on its ships if they haven't been fully vaccinated against COVID-19. The company is aiming to resume operations in July. Norwegian says all passengers and crew members will have to show proof they received their last shot at least 2 weeks before boarding. The policy will apply to all ships and all age groups. A Minneapolis police officer who trained Derek Chauvin on how to perform approved neck restraints was on the stand today. In cross-examination, Chauvin's defense showed various angles of George Floyd's arrest and suggested the position was actually an approved position and that Chauvin's knee was not on Floyd's neck, but rather his back and shoulders. Yesterday, the Minneapolis police chief testified that continuing to kneel on Floyd's neck once he was handcuffed and laying on his stomach violated department policy.
Well, the numbers, we talk about beautiful weather, and we mentioned this yesterday, and it really is going to be this way for the next couple of days. Just perfect. It gets warmer every day. Mid 70s yesterday, upper 70s to low 80s today, still in the low 80s tomorrow. Now, we're getting spoiled with this because our normal high is in the upper 60s, so don't get too used to this. Probably won't stick around for a while. However, our long range forecast, at least for the next week, we're in great shape. Might get cooler after that, but we'll see. 80 even in Greensboro, Winston-Salem. We have low 80s also for High Point, Lexington, in that same neck of the woods. 79 in Asheboro, 83 Burlington, 82 in Reedsville, and looks like 81 too if you head up toward Walnut Cove. Now, for tonight, clear skies, 53 will be the overnight low. Wind still out of a westerly direction to southwest. We'll build in with the heat. We think tomorrow, this would be the warmest day so far this year. Way above, that's about 15 degrees above normal. But 82 for your Wednesday, lots of sunshine. So if you look at what's ahead for the week, obviously tomorrow we said warmest day of the year. Possibly showers though move in Thursday night into Friday, maybe a thunderstorm, a little rain for the weekend too. We'll have your complete forecast, a 7-day outlook right after the break.
Diaper bank. Have you ever heard of it? Well, think of it as a food bank, but instead of food, it provides diapers for those in need. And there's one right here in the TRIAD. According to the Diaper Bank of North Carolina, parents can spend anywhere between $80 to $100 a month on diapers. Wow. Just think about that. The founder of the bank tells me the need for diapers has grown as struggling families deal with the financial stress of the coronavirus pandemic. Reports show more than 1 in 3 families experience diaper need. Michelle Old, founder of the Diaper Bank of North Carolina, says many parents must make the tough decision between buying food or buying diapers.
So we're seeing babies left in 1 diaper a day, families rinsing out and reusing diapers, and parents making really tough decisions about basic human needs that they shouldn't have to make.
On average, Old says the bank distributes roughly 400,000 diapers a month for babies across the state, with offices in Winston-Salem, Durham, and Wilmington. Since the start of the pandemic, she's seen the need for diapers increase.
And it has not slowed down. As families continue to be out of work, or they're not having those hourly jobs that are now gone because the restaurants closed, the hotels are closed, families are struggling greatly.
Kimberly Clark, the maker of the popular diaper brand Huggies Pull-Ups, recently announced it was notifying customers in the U.S. and Canada that it will raise prices for many of its products in late June to help offset inflation.
I understand why companies have to make the decisions that they make, but pre-COVID and during COVID, we know that working families are already struggling to afford the most basic needs. And so during this time when prices are being raised, we will do everything that we can to serve the families as best as we can.
All right, so Old says the diaper bank is in need of volunteers and donations. As I said in my report, there's 3 branches across the state, but there is one located in Winston-Salem that serves the TRIAD area. So we do have all those details on our website, WFNYnews.com, if you're interested in volunteering. One thing I wanted to point out why this is so important is, diapers, they're not covered by WIC or SNAP benefits or EBT.
Really?
And, you can use that for food, but diapers, which is also an essential need, you can't use it for that. So that's why it's important that we get the word out there that a service like this is out there for folks.
All right, so I'm going to have to weigh in on this since I'm the only one with experience here. Just turn everybody's mics off and I'm getting up on the soapbox. Here's the deal. When we had our twins, first 2 kids, didn't know what to expect, obviously, no parent does. And a couple of things to note. One is, first of all, between that and formula, if you go that route, we were spending about $500 a month on just diapers and formula. That's not clothes or toys or anything else. So it gets, and that was, 18 years ago. So that gets very, very expensive. The other thing is the diaper companies know what they're doing. When they're newborns, you're going through like 7 diapers a day, and it goes down as they get older, but the cost stays the same. So remember that. And here's my third, this is a tip for anybody wanting to buy a present for a couple that's expecting. Buy them diapers. Don't buy all newborns. Buy the stages. Have a party like a shower. My guy friends had a shower for me, and all they did was bring diapers in, and we all kind of hung out for a little bit. But I had 6 months worth of diapers thanks to our friends that did that. That's the greatest gift you'll give anybody, is to help them out with that, because you're right, Lauren, really expensive and not covered in a lot of the benefits.
It sounds like a lot like what you would do for clothing, when you're having a baby shower, that, you don't want to get just newborn to 6 months old clothing. You want to get down the line a little bit, because you want to be able to provide the clothing for the child as it grows. But I just can't believe that it's not covered by WIC and those other types of benefits. That's shocking to me.
And well, as we know, like Eric said, I don't have any parent experience, but I do have a lot of friends with kids, and I bought a lot of diapers, and I know one thing. My least favorite thing to buy. It's awful.
Because of the thought.
It's you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't see them in it. You don't know if it's yours, and they cost a lot.
Right. All right. We'll be right back. We're going to end it there. That's good, Jalen. That's good.
Well, we've all seen mountains, but what if your mountain currently you're looking at is nothing but personal chaos?
Yeah, today on U Day, a new segment here on the 4 to 5, Coach Lamont shares a unique strategy to eliminate the mountain by using an internal superpower.
For so many of you watching this right now, you are facing mountains. Mountains of debt, personal issues, professional issues, or some sort of chaos. Whatever that mountain is standing before you, just know it will remain there until you confront it, conquer it, and eliminate it. It is there to intimidate you and call your bluff. It is time to fight, but to do so, it will take that internal power that lives on the inside of you called faith. See, that mountain believes it has a right to remain in your life. There is a spiritual principle which empowers us to speak to that mountain and that it must be moved. Use that voice and set a declaration in place. The reason there are so many mountains rising up against you is because you have not utilized the internal power to overcome it. The mountain may seem big, but it can't speak back when you speak to it. This is Coach Lamont reminding you to have your best U Day. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, we're talking pollen out there. A lot of you that have sensitivities to this, you know already that this is the case, don't you? Tree pollen is very high right now. The grass and weeds are low. We probably expect to see this go up. Tomorrow, we may see these creeping into that moderate zone. We'll see. Of course, the pollen report comes out every day at about 3:30, and we update our graphic for you. Stick around, too. Tanny Rivera is going to be talking about this a little bit more in depth coming up. We've got 80 degrees right now in Greensboro, 83 Burlington, 81 High Point. Winston-Salem, the Twin City there at 80, 82 in Reedsville as well. Martinsville down to 78 right now. It's comfortable. 53 will be our low tonight. Look for clear skies tonight and pretty much all day tomorrow. A sunny day, really beautiful. This, if we hit this, we may even get a degree above that. Might have to tweak that forecast, but I'm going to hold with 82 for now, and that would be the hottest day so far this year. That would be about 15 to 16 degrees above normal for us this time of the year. We are being spoiled for about a solid week with above normal temperatures, but nobody argues, right? Clear skies today. Go out to the wider shot here. We've got a big ridge of high pressure that remains in control of our forecast for really the next several days. That next rainmaker will not come in until probably Thursday, so look for those temperatures to start to cool down to the mid to low 70s for this weekend. We'll have the 7-day forecast for you coming up.
In the airline industry, less than 6% of all pilots and flight engineers in the U.S. are women, and only about 10% are Black Americans, Asian, Hispanic, or Latino. United Airlines, the only major U.S. airline to own a flight school, is announcing its new plan to train 5,000 pilots by 2030, and at least half will be women or people of color.
2 decades ago, near runways like these, a Texas girl was discovering her love of aviation.
My grandmother would take my sisters and I to the airport to watch the airplanes take off and land.
A 6-year-old, Tashiana Smith, was hooked.
We could actually smell that jet fuel for a couple of days, and I still love that smell today.
So you've been addicted to jet fuel since you were a kid?
Yes, sir.
24-year-old Smith is on a lifelong quest to become a commercial airline pilot, an expensive ambition. Flight training costs an average of $100,000. So over the years, Smith earned several scholarships through nonprofit organizations. She's following in the flight path of people like Marianne Schaefer, a 32-year veteran in the industry who is United Airlines' chief pilot.
I believe it's related to just the thrill of taking off and controlling the airplane. It really is just a feeling of empowerment.
But both Smith and Schaefer say they'd like to see more female representation in the flight deck.
They simply don't have the access or the opportunity.
In an exclusive interview with CBS News, United CEO Scott Kirby is announcing a new effort to bring balance to the flight deck.
We're excited at United to be announcing the United Aviate Academy to address the structural issues with the makeup of our pilots.
The Academy aims to enroll 5,000 new pilots by decade's end, with a benchmark that at least half will be women or minorities. Scholarships can be applied for separately. Smith, an Aviate program applicant, recently toured the flight deck of a 737-800 with Captain Schaefer.
It allows me to know and see that one day I can become a professional pilot.
Fuel for young girls' aviation dreams. Errol Barnett, Houston.
Very, very cool. I love that story. And there's also a North Carolina connection here. So I read that United is actually partnering with 3 HBCUs, and Elizabeth City in North Carolina is one of them. They're going to offer them mentorship, scholarships, and I just really think this is a really cool program.
Absolutely. And you know, when you go flying, at least in my mind, I always see white male pilots, right? And so it'll be nice to see some diversity, both in gender but also race, because I mean, it's good to have so much diversity everywhere you look.
And you know, right now is the time really to get involved in that type of a program, because the airlines are seeing a huge increase. Confidence is coming back. People are starting to fly more. And in fact, I think I heard someone the other day in the industry say that they're seeing such a big increase quickly, they're having a hard time even keeping up. So perfect time to get into that field.
Eric, you're absolutely right. It is a time that people are feeling more confident in traveling, so there's a boom. They've had a large layoff last year in pretty much all areas, in all fields of work. And now the airline business is back and booming and getting ready to hire on new pilots. It's a great thing to see. I've traveled a lot as a youth. Didn't really get to see an opportunity to see many pilots that look like me. I actually do remember specifically one time I was going to Phoenix and I had a black pilot, and he brought me into the cockpit one time and gave me some wings. It was cool. It was actually a really great time. So like we said many times before, representation matters, and it's important in all fields.
And I think here, relevant to the TRIAD, I mean, aviation TRIAD, I mean, there's a big push right now, and it has been for years, Eric, I know you know this, to try to get more people in the aviation field. So this is good all the way around. We'll be right back.
Hello, Mikey check. Ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie. Hey, I had those lemon Kit Kats, and they were really good. Surprising. Yeah, surprisingly good.
Good afternoon and welcome back to your 4 to 5. I'm Lauren Coleman here with Chad Silver, Eric Chilton, and Jalen Gilkey.
You know what I realized, Lauren, is this is the first time I've been on the 4 to 5 with you.
Yes.
So I watch you every day, and you're doing incredible. You're fitting in nicely with this group
thank
here.
you, guys.
But it's nice to be able to have conversations with you during.
And
the
Chad,
4.
you and I just had a conversation yesterday. I said, when will you ever be back on the 4 to 5? And he goes, probably never. And the next day,
here I am.
Here you are,
singing songs and.
Right.
Spitting rhymes.
Not well. You were the one.
Not well at all.
Rhymes. Yeah, Jalen, I'm going to stand in front of him because I don't want his opinion right now.
Well, after, it's hard to follow up such a lovely musical performance that Lauren put on, and now you're trying to fit in those shoes and you're not doing such a great job.
So true. Just trying to make a viral moment, guys, all right? Yeah. Facebook, we're on Facebook.
Facebook.
Right, all the time. Like right now. Come talk to us. There's a lot of people talking about the allergies, so we're going to get to Eric Chilton in a little bit to talk about that. But first up, tomorrow's a big day in the fight against coronavirus. Anyone older than 15 can sign up for a vaccine. Meantime, today Governor Cooper said a quarter of all North Carolinians are fully vaccinated and about 40% are partially. Cooper says the increasing good news will likely lead to more loosened restrictions in the near future, but didn't elaborate. He also warned against complacency.
Although North Carolina remains in a stable position, we cannot let our guard down. This is especially true as we see rising numbers in other parts of the country and across the world. This virus is still out there, and new, more infectious variants are spreading. We need to continue to be careful and responsible.
And even though more people can get vaccinated starting tomorrow, many people, they're still struggling to find a vaccine appointment. New appointments may open, but they are usually filled up pretty quickly. Pharmacists suggest calling every vaccine provider in your area and get on a waiting list. You may get a shot sooner if you're already on someone's radar. And check appointments daily, whether that's online or calling local agencies and pharmacies daily as well.
Hey, did your arm hurt for a while after getting vaccinated? Yeah, me too. And it's not just the needle that's causing the pain. Health experts say the liquid can actually stretch muscle fibers around the injection site. Also, your immune response starts at the injection site, so the cells in your arm are the first to get to work. Doctors recommend keeping your arm moving after the shot since it gets the blood flowing and spreads out the immune response. Taking over-the-counter pain relievers after the shot can also help. I'm tracking a small spike in one of our state's coronavirus metrics today. This is the percentage of tests coming back positive. The latest number is 7%. We haven't seen a number this high in nearly 2 months. I had to go all the way back to February 15th to find the last time we topped 7%. It's important to give some perspective here. Remember when we could only dream of 7%? Check out the pandemic as a whole. While today's 7% is higher than we've been lately, it's still much lower than the 14s, 15s, even 16s and 17s we were seeing around the first of the year.
The Biden administration says the country is in a race to get Americans vaccinated as the number of new cases rises for the 4th straight week. CDC data shows more than 75% of senior citizens have received at least one dose of the vaccine. Health officials say the rise in new cases is coming predominantly from younger adults. There's also increasing concern about outbreaks from school-age children, but not necessarily from kids in the classroom.
We are learning that many outbreaks in young people are related to youth sports and extracurricular activities. According to CDC guidance, these activities should be limited.
But it's not just youth sports that are a concern here, with officials specifically mentioning the nearly full ballpark at Monday's Texas Rangers baseball game with no social distancing limits. While more places reopen and more people get vaccinated is some good news. It doesn't mean we're in the clear just yet. One virus variant recently found in India has now made its way here to the U.S. Let's connect the dots for you.
As the race to vaccinate Americans against the coronavirus continues, another variant has been found in this country. Let's connect the dots. This so-called double mutant variant was first discovered in India. As you can guess, this variant contains 2 mutations to the coronavirus. The mutations have been seen before in different variants. One is similar to the so-called California variant. The other was found in variants discovered in Brazil and South Africa. The first case of this double mutant variant in the U.S. was diagnosed in a patient in the San Francisco area. So what does this mean? Experts are concerned these mutations make the variant more contagious. That's because both help the virus latch onto cells. India first revealed its existence in March. Now cases are surging in the country. In one hard-hit Indian state, cases have increased 50% in just a week. But political leaders claim the new variant is not necessarily to blame, instead pointing fingers at large gatherings. More research is needed on this double mutant variant, but experts are hopeful the current vaccines will be effective against it. Despite the lack of hard data, they point to the fact that the vaccines work on these same mutations seen individually in other variants. But the emergence of this new variant of concern reinforces to health officials that widespread vaccinations are needed to stop the creation of new mutations.
Let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup now. First up, President Biden plans to move up the deadline for adult eligibility for COVID-19 vaccines to April 19th. The president has previously called for states to make all adults eligible for shots by May 1st. 36 states have opened eligibility to people 16 and older, including ours, while 12 more are already set to do so by April 19th. The CDC says more than 167 million vaccinations have been administered so far. A clarification, tomorrow, North Carolina will be open to 15, or older than 15. The feds are proposing banning foreclosures until next year. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is also recommending giving borrowers who are behind on their payments more time. As of February, there were nearly 3 million homeowners behind on their mortgages. People in Australia and New Zealand will soon be able to travel between the two countries without needing to quarantine thanks to what they're calling a travel bubble. Both nations have been able to keep infection rates at near zero. Listen to this. The World Health Organization says Australia has just 7 new cases, while New Zealand has none. Citing concerns over the coronavirus, North Korea says it will not compete in the Summer Olympics in Tokyo. It will be the first time since the 1988 Olympics the country will not participate in the Games. The country claims to be completely free of COVID-19, though experts are deeply skeptical.
But we're talking about temperatures that are way above normal and will stay that way really for the next 7 days in a row. Nice stuff. No arguments here. Let's look at these readings. We're looking at regional temperatures, not just here in the Triad, but at PTI where our official records are kept. 80 degrees, 82 down east in Raleigh. We've got 83 in Fayetteville. Wilmington at 85. A little bit cooler though in Myrtle Beach at 76, and then you can see that 81 as you head up toward Danville. It's warm all across the state. Great day. These temperatures are more akin to a midsummer day for us. However, you will notice the humidity is not there that we would normally see later on as we get into that summer. So hour by hour tonight dropping into the 60s. I think somewhere between that 8 and 9 o'clock hour we'll see that 69 degree reading, and then into the 50s as we head to the overnight. A couple of clouds maybe, but for the most part we'll say mostly clear. You'll be hard pressed to find much in the way of cloud cover. You see a little bit popping up on satellite and radar. Going out to the wider shot here, all clear. It is a massive ridge of high pressure that keeps us not only clear but warm with winds out of the southwest. This next front approaches, that's probably a Thursday night into Friday situation, but there's another front back behind that one that will bring in the rain, it looks like, and then another dose of rain actually as we head into the weekend. Rain chances though, if you look at that 7-day, we're looking at that 40 to 60% chance for this weekend. We will dry out next week though, still in the 70s, low 70s, sunny to partly cloudy. The normal high is in the upper 60s.
All right, Chilton, you're the technology one, you're the science one, I am not, which is why when I look at this, I have no idea what that is.
But it's our job to simplify things, Tanya, to try to bring that down a little bit.
Okay, well, thankfully, because I went in search of a forecast that I could understand when it came to pollen, and I found this one right here from Christian Morgan. Yes, that graphic,
nice.
Eric Chilton, that I can understand.
Yeah, I always say it's like when you look at a cake, you think, oh, that's a great cake and icing, so easy, tastes so good, but there's a lot more that goes into it than just that.
There is a lot more, but I'm glad that I can just read it this easily, okay? So recently I talked to an HVAC expert because of this whole allergy forecast thing, who asked me, what kind of air filter do I have in my house? Do you know what kind of air filter you have in your house?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Square.
So, right. He said, the ductwork that carries the heat or air through your house acts like the lungs of the house. And if you want to breathe easily, you need to know what kind of air filter you have and how often those air filters need to be changed.
This is a HVAC furnace filter. You can see it's got this reinforcement here, but it's almost transparent. You can kind of see through it. And that kind of speaks to the quality of the filtration. How much particulate, what size particulate can pass through that filter. Here's an example of a filter that has a pleated media filter with a metal mesh for support so it doesn't cave in or collapse inside the ductwork. This is going to collect a lot more of the finer particulate that would normally pass through a less dense filter.
Okay, so the cheaper and thinner filters you're supposed to change every 30 days. The more expensive, thicker filters can last 60 to 90 days. So what should you really be looking for? Because none of us know, right? So I took a look at it. The American Society of Heating, Refrigeration, and Air Conditioning Engineers, yes, that exists, recommends a minimum efficiency reports value, or what they call a MERV, for air filters. For context, hospitals usually use MERV 14 to 20. Residential should go with about a MERV 8 to 13. What's the pricing? Well, a MERV 8, which is what we're saying for residential, will cost you about $2 a piece on the low end. A MERV 14 is more like $10 a piece.
Hey there, Facebook party people. How you doing?
Hey.
Chad and Lauren here.
Hey, Facebook.
Holding it down. So Maddie is off today. I don't know if it has to do with her. Remember, I think she was talking about her vaccine shot. So hopefully she's feeling fine. But they allowed me to come back today. One day only. I'm calling it the family reunion tour. What do you think? And it's not really a reunion for us because we haven't ever done this before.
We've never done this before. But it's been fun.
Yeah.
Love your energy. Loved your song at the beginning of the show.
You were just saying that.
No, I did.
It was pretty bad
I think
compared to what you did.
We need to get in the studio. We can make some magic.
Yeah, right. How are you enjoying the 4 to 5?
I'm enjoying it a lot. I like the talkers that we have. I love the energy and just the camaraderie. It's different and I really enjoy it. It's been a lot of fun. I like that we get to talk to Facebook. So Facebook, make sure you follow me on Facebook so I can get to know you a little better.
Right, absolutely. Jalen's in here now.
Hey, Jalen.
Jalen, what did you think about my song?
Chad, stop. 0 out of 10. If I could go below 0, I would give you less than 0. Was not great. Like I told you, big shoes to fill after Miss Lauren performed.
Oh yeah.
What did you sing? Mary Had a Little Lamb? She sang Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Sang Mary Had a Little
and
Lamb before the rap.
Yeah.
Oh.
Dual threat.
Did you want to hear the Eminem version of my theme song today?
Chad, I don't know why you're doing this.
You haven't seen me step yet.
Back again.
Yeah, I know you got
Silver's back. Tell a friend.
That was actually better. That was better.
Guess who's back? Guess who's back?
Guess who's back?
You know, I was
you might have got fined for that one. That was kind of long.
I was trying to play to the audience. You know, I feel like more of our viewers would know. As the high school football season winds down, one Dudley High School alum wants to make sure kids are still able to reach their dreams. WFMY News 2's Jalen Gilkey learned all about Team Takeoff.
Yeah, Trad, Chauncey Carter had the opportunity to play college football on several different levels. As he returned back to Greensboro at the end of his career, he realized there were many talented football players here without an opportunity. So he created Team Takeoff to help show the country what North Carolina football is all about.
My mission with Team Takeoff is to raise a young man on and off the field.
Chauncey Carter started Team Takeoff in 2018. His goal is to give athletes in the TRIAD an opportunity to be seen by college coaches from across the country.
Yes, sir, straight. Because it was bigger than me to make sure that I get 100 kids to the NFL, to make sure I get 100
All right, so Jalen had some technical difficulties there. If you want to just kind of recap and tell us what this team takeoff's all about.
Well, Team Takeoff is a non-contact 7-on-7 football team that just helps youth from our area get more exposure. They also teach life skills, responsibility, and just help raise these young men into adult young athletes, and just to try to hold them accountable for the things that they do on and off the field. So that's basically what Team Takeoff is. That's just a summary as to what they got going on. And if you at home know of a football player who might need some help getting some extra exposure, or who just wants to become a better player and person, I've attached links to Team Takeoff's Facebook page, Instagram page, and their website as well, where you can contact the coaching staff and get you and your player signed up.
And I know in the next couple minutes here, Jalen, you will find out what happened to that story, and you're going to put it up on the website, because I think it's very important for everybody to see this story. You know, I love the idea of being able to teach young people in a well-rounded manner, both the sport, but then also life skills.
I think that sports and the discipline that it requires to do sports well has always been a great teaching ground for young men and women to learn. Really, it's discipline, right? And we all could use that in our lives as we grow up. I think the sports playing field, so to speak, and the discipline that you learn there, you take throughout your life.
Yeah, I was going to say the same. You know, football is more than just touchdown and tackles, and the responsibility factor they were saying, you can take that off the field into your schoolwork, because you can't play if you don't have good grades. So I think that this is a great program, and I look forward to seeing the full story as well.
Absolutely, you guys are absolutely right. And just some of the things that they teach at Team Takeoff: teamwork, responsibility, accountability, and the last one is to make sure you always work hard. So make sure those are the 4 things that are crucial to being successful on the field as well as off the field post-career as well. And those are the things that Coach Carter makes sure that he instills in his players as well as his coaching staff.
And what a great way to be able to help players who might not be at the level to play postgraduate to still be able to do something, and to further their dreams, and to be able to use their passion and take advantage of sports in all different scenarios.
Yeah. Absolutely right. And speaking with the staff, they also said the most important thing, besides everything on the field, off the field as well, is making sure that these young men have experiences and are able to experience places outside of North Carolina. Coach Carter said he has a lot of guys on his in his program that may not have been outside of Charlotte, and he and his program are opening those opportunities and opening those doors for those young men to travel all across the country, see new scenery, and just to know that there's more to the world than just North Carolina.
All right, very cool.
Love it, love it.
We'll be right back. Hey there, Callie. Will you explain to the viewers? They're watching you right now on Facebook, and they're wondering what you're doing.
I am moving the bee homes around.
So these, we call these V-homes. They're just these large monitors, and so we're able to position them in different locations to make our newscast more visual, and you'll be seeing that coming up at 5.
Well, no matter how rough your week may have started, at least you're not this guy. Take a look at that. What you're seeing, a ton of honeybees that have swarmed a car in New Mexico. The driver said he went to a grocery store and left his car windows down. He didn't even notice the bees until he put his groceries in the trunk and started to drive off. Luckily, an off-duty firefighter who is also a beekeeper was called to the scene to safely remove the bees. What are the chances of that a beekeeper was in the area?
Oh, right, who's also a firefighter. I mean, what a great, can you play that any better?
Firefighter and beekeeper. Is that what his business card says? I don't know how, that, for some reason, that always grosses me out when I see like all the bees over everything. But when I've seen these people remove them, have you ever seen, they literally just scoop them off. How are they not getting just lit up with bee stings? I don't know how they know to do that. But.
So I know a little bit about beekeeping, only because I did a story on it a few years ago. And the bees, the worker bees, have one job, and their job is to go find the honey, or not the honey, but the pollen that makes the honey, and bring it back. And nothing will stop them. And so they don't care about you unless you're trying to harm them. Their sole task for their entire life is to just go out and gather. So when I was talking to this beekeeper, he had me stand right next to his beehive without any sort of equipment or gear or anything on. And all of a sudden, the bees started what I can only consider a runway. They had started, and so they came out. They would fly up into the sky, disappear, and then fly back in. And it was just this constant cycle of tens of thousands of bees. And you can stand right there, and they're not even going to touch you because they don't want anything to do with you. And they hope that you don't want anything to do with them either.
Until you start swatting.
Right, yes, don't swat. As soon as their life is in jeopardy, then they'll start protecting themselves.
And they attack as a group, too.
Yeah.
So,
right, yes.
Don't swat. I tell my kids all the time, quit running, and they'll leave you alone. Just walk away slowly. They can't do it.
It's like a bear, right?
I wish I knew that when I was younger. When I first got stung, I was swatting, dramatic, running everywhere. So next time I'm going to stand still, and I'm going to remember what you said. And if I get bit, I'm coming back to you.
Well, if you get bit, that's going to be crazy because usually bees sting. So if you get bit by one, I'm
stung, my bad.
That's the very rare North American chomping bee.
A bee bite.
Yeah, it's a very rare breed. Should we talk about a forecast? Is it time to do that?
Yeah, let's do that.
Can I do that? Our producer just said, yeah, go ahead. All right, here we go. Let's chat about warmer air that is moving in. 53 degrees, that'll be our low tonight. And we think we're going to make it up to probably 82 degrees. Now, you know, the official high temperature, I just checked this, we hit it about 7 to 8 minutes ago, was 81. And we were calling for 78 last night, so we were right at it. We're plus or minus 3, that's our hold me to it, so we actually made that. 77 will be our midday temperature tomorrow. It'll be a fast warm up, that's for sure. In fact, from noon until about 4, we're gonna go up about 5 degrees in just that 3 to 4 hour period. So watch for that. Again, very warm for us this time of the year. Upper 60s where we should be, and we'll be in the low 80s tomorrow. It is more of a summertime forecast. Did you just see that bird? That pigeon just flew right. I thought he was going to land and watch a forecast. He's invited. It is free. Here's what we see across the area. High pressure clearing us out, and it is a big ridge of high pressure. Remember the clockwise flow around the high. That means if you're on this side of it, the left side, your winds are mostly out of a southerly direction. We're going to say west-southwest, and that keeps us warm. Now, this cold front, as it approaches, the winds ahead of a cold front will parallel that front. So that means more southwesterly flow, and that coupled with the winds around that high, it all kind of funnels in over us, and that's why we've been continually building every day. Mid 70s yesterday, upper 70s to low 80s today, and then tomorrow that 82-degree high temperature. 7-day forecast does show a few rain chances. We're looking at a 20% Thursday night, a 50% during the day on Friday, 40 and 60% for Saturday, Sunday, and highs will be in the low to mid 70s. Next week, dry, more sunshine, and still low 70s.
Bye-bye. Yeah. Mic check, 1, 2. Good afternoon. One.
Hello. Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hello, hello.
Hi there, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, Nevada.
Cali, 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 Cali.
Hey everybody, mic check 1, 2, 3, 4. It's been a pretty busy week, huh? It's been a pretty busy last 7 days. Mic check 1, 2, live here in the Dean Smith Center.
It's time for my 2 cents. I got my second COVID-19 shot yesterday. Now on the surface, it's 2 doses of mRNA, but more than that, it's a reminder that all of this is coming to an end. In 2 weeks, I will join the millions of Americans who are considered fully vaccinated. The CDC says vaccinated people are less likely to get and spread COVID. They can get together without wearing masks, travel without being tested before or after, and they no longer need to quarantine. Once we are vaccinated, we will see life start to get back to normal. You know, every time that I see someone share that they got the vaccine or post about getting to see a vaccinated family member for the first time in more than a year, it makes me so happy. It gives me hope that after all we've gone through and all that some have lost, this will come to an end. Starting tomorrow, everyone who wants a vaccine will be able to get one in North Carolina. We are so close. I know there are some side effects with the COVID vaccine, a sore arm, maybe mild symptoms, but I think that there are more that we aren't hearing about. I think the shot may also bring joy, hope, and confidence. That's my 2 cents. That's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts now.
In less than 12 hours, everyone 16 and older in North Carolina will be able to get the COVID-19 vaccine. This comes weeks ahead of schedule, and it all has to do with how fast providers have been able to administer the vaccine.
Yeah, so far 40% of adults in North Carolina are at least partially vaccinated, while 25% are fully vaccinated.
This will help us turn the corner on the pandemic even sooner. But the work isn't over yet. We have to keep up our safety measures, like wearing our masks, especially indoors. And we have to encourage each other to get vaccinated.
WFMY News 2's Adoria Chumba has a closer look at how some TRIAD agencies are already handling Group 5.
With Group 5 becoming eligible for vaccinations tomorrow, anyone 16 and over who wants to get a shot can make an appointment. Some counties already have a head start on Group 5.
Because of the hard work of our providers and commitment of North Carolinians to take their shot,